can't.
Oh, he's on mute. There he is. He's unmuted.
How are you? Woo.
Wow, cool. Back.
Hey there.
Oh, I like that.
I saw you hide all the trash behind me.
I do that with Laurie in my den of doom.
No, I had intended to be on at 12 and a work call lasted too long. But anyway.
Well, we just been kind of getting to know what's going on with people, because it's been quite some time since we've had this Saturday Q&A thing for Wildfowl Carving. It's kind of a kickoff thing for us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess basically it's going to be the same as last year.
Pretty much. We are going to make the palm frond division that was in the auction division, and perhaps even the head. We might just take those divisions and make them into regular divisions so that they don't have to be donated to compete. People have a lot of those things just sitting around, and anything's eligible as long as it's never competed at this show before. So, it might open the door for some people to take out the stuff on the shelf and get it cleaned up and photograph it.
Yeah, I had one that, it was a consignment piece, and I forgot to video it in the water just in case I could enter that, even though it had left the house. But that's okay.
See, that's kind of the beauty of it, even if it's gone, but you have it documented accordingly. I think Tom Christie, he was taking all of his pictures right last year. But then when I asked him why he didn't enter, because he had so many great entries, I mean, we all see them, it's beautiful work. He said he didn't know that they had to float. So he was doing, and I don't know if it's that he's not making them so they float, they're just decoratives for the show, or he just didn't want to go to the hassle of trying to get a video proving that they could float. I think this year we're going to see a whole lot more participation, because last year was like pulling teeth, convincing people that we had something viable. And, now we've proven it. It's been listed as one of the top shows in Competition Magazine, and it's IWCA. I mean, we have the IWCA Shorebird Championships for 2022. So, I think people are going to be willing to, and the other thing is I think people are really tired of waiting on the ward. And I mean, for me, it's been 4 years for my entries, because I missed 2019 because I had to paint mallards for Deadly, and then the last 3 have been canceled. So, I used to use with the ward show as my place to reveal my newest works first. And now, I don't know that I want to wait for them anymore. Who knows if I'll be here next year? I mean, after this last thing. Jeez.
Well, and I've heard some people, I don't want to say complain, but they felt like, or have felt like the quality of the entries that the ward has had the past 2 years in this format has not lived up to their past.
Well, and I believe that's because everybody's holding on to their work, wanting to reveal it at World, and they keep canceling. And so, I'm actually not waiting anymore. Just because it competed somewhere before, doesn't mean I can't compete it at World and still do well. Maybe somebody might recognize it more quickly, but I guess that's the way it has to be if that's the way they're gonna. Because what if they cancel again? They called me.
If they do, they're done.
Yeah.
They wanted to know if I donate, and I've been holding a donation. We're ready for them for a really long time, and 4 years and I want to be there. And no, I'm not going to mail it. I'm not going to risk it being lost. I'm not going to know whoever bought it. You know, it's nice to know who buys your work. I like to keep record of things like that. So I think things sell for a little bit more when you're actually at the event that the auction occurs at. Even Pam knows that.
Yeah, I agree. I think if they cancel again, it's done. It's over.
Right. And so, you know, people, I don't want to, even if they said, okay, we're going to do it all virtually, send your or just send your stuff in. I'm not doing it. It's just not worth the risk. The last time I sent something in, it was damaged in more ways than one. And my palm frond canvas back. And, you know.
Can you imagine some of the complicated pieces like Mueller's and Godden's, trying to mail that in and pack it and send it back?
And who's going to pack it?
I don't trust any of the delivery, you know, any of the mail services delivery. I do not trust them at all.
No.
And certainly none of my guys are gonna do it.
Well,
it's bad enough, you know, mailing just within the States, but getting it from the UK, no way. And I know that some of them have been holding pieces back for 3 years now.
Right. So I'm kind of hoping that there will be those that have decided or feeling the same way I am and know that, number one, they should be documenting their art anyway. And if they do it right, then they can use it for competitions, not this one only, but for Wildfowl Carving Magazine. And there's one in Canada. Yeah. There you go. So yeah, there's not going to be a whole lot of difference this year, except for I think what we're going to do is, Lori and I discussed it, and Jeff, about the junior division, just having a bench class. And then if there are more, because we didn't have any entries. So if there are more than, you know, 5 of any certain anything, otherwise they'll just compete together as a junior division and maybe different age groups. But, you know, to have all the divisions and all of the different levels of competition is cumbersome, number one. And but we didn't know what we would need, and we wanted to make sure we had what could be used by other carvers. And of course, we always want to encourage the youth to get involved. So we're still going to keep the juniors, just kind of scale it down. Auction divisions probably will become, I know, palm frond for sure. I think that there was a lot of palm fronds that could have been entered and probably were photographed, but it wasn't an auction division. It doesn't make sense because palm fronds are so many different sizes. I mean, if you go out and look, you can find a palm frond that's this big.
We both got one.
Yes, we have. Bob's son gave them to us. And speaking of which, tomorrow is the anniversary of Bob's death. So just so you know.
Oh gosh. Oh.
Yep.
Well, then maybe.
So yeah, I was looking through my phone at pictures, looking for something, and got down to June 5th of 2018, and the RIP picture of him, that really great picture of him looking off in the mountains. So yeah, that's coming up.
That's a bummer. I love that.
Well,
I still have all these letters tucked away in a little folder.
Me too.
Handwrite letters. Nobody hands write letters
Oh, if
anymore.
we were all to come take all our letters that we got, because I know, you know, Matus has them, and Christy has, everybody who's anybody has them. And people who don't even aren't anybody still have them too, because, you know, he was always trying to get everybody involved, especially the kids. And in fact, just got asked by Wood Carving Illustrated about writing a portion of an article that would be included. This portion would be included with other organizations dedicated to wood and wood carving. And so I'm filling in some basic questions like who founded it. And it's just funny, it all comes up at the same time. So I'm working on that too. It was a nice article that you had in the Wingspan.
Yes, thank you.
You wrote it very well.
Well, thank you. But I mean, it just, the whole magazine has got a really great feel to it, and it kind of gives
It's
us,
fun.
yeah, it is, gives us a different view because, you know, things are a little bit different over there.
Yeah.
And
Stylistically too,
that
which
too.
is cool. Mhm.
Right. So
Thank you.
yeah, so that's really fun. They beat it up pretty bad coming over here. How was yours, Lori?
Mine was fine. It was in its little white
Mine was like,
envelope, and there was like one
Oh.
corner of the envelope torn, but the book was fine.
mine went through, I don't know what. I've got
Probably
it
ran it
underneath
over
Yeah.
with a
book, heavy books, so that it would, I know it cost you $5 something sterling to send it. So,
Oh yeah.
so thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
Postage is expensive. Actually, that's an interesting point. I've got some. I used to use plastic envelopes,
Mhm.
clear plastic ones, but then I started getting trouble with the actually mailing because they're now using all this machinery, and they've got this book that says exactly where the label has got to be positioned, and the envelope mustn't bend too much and everything. So that's why I had to change to the white ones. But what I could do is a good idea. I've got the plastic ones left. I could actually seal my foreign ones in a plastic envelope and then put the plastic envelope inside the
Maybe
white
that
one,
would
and
be
that will
more
make
helpful.
it stronger.
It was just,
Yeah, I'll try that.
purple. It's like it got stuck somewhere like this, and
Yeah.
then it stayed that way for a
Yeah.
while. So I've got it under some heavy books, and it's
I got mine by
It's
my
just
couch.
kinda
I thought I had it
hard
here.
to read because it's crumpled through and through, but it sure is a great magazine.
It's
And
fun.
seeing the difference, you know.
Mhm.
Now, is this this is a magazine from the UK or?
This is,
Yeah,
Okay.
this is my magazine.
yep,
Oh,
I'm the
okay.
editor.
he's the editor.
That's Pam.
Yep, and
How do
you know,
you
I know
get,
I promised you
I'm
more
asking,
articles.
how do you get a subscription or?
You join the association. It's Laurie is a member.
Yeah, I just haven't re-upped. I'd
No, you
rather
haven't, no.
contribute.
Just supporting, trying to support the clubs. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, and
If you
it's
go
not,
to-
what is it, 25?
45.
pounds? 35 pounds.
I think it's £25. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
almost about $30 for us, but
Yeah.
Yeah, but it costs
And
a
you get
lot
3
more for you
copies.
guys to mail that out to us
Mhm.
than our international membership fees. I said, okay, give
We're
me that
gonna-
envelope back. I said, I want to see how much it costs you to send this.
I think we're going to have to put the price up because blinking ... Brexit, everything has gone up and up and up. And it's weird, like the prices. Canada is different to the US. US is, and this I don't understand, US is more expensive than sending to Australia and New Zealand.
and the post office is still going broke.
Yeah, yeah.
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 Or they
It's called the
deliver an
American
empty
work
envelope.
ethic.
And I
The
have to
post
do
office-
all my foreign ones now have to be done sort of manually. I mean, I can't, all the UK ones, I've got the envelopes are ready, barcode stamped. I've had them printed, and so I do them, put them in sacks, take them to the mail office. Here's the sacks, here's the form, whoom. But all international ones, you know, Europe and beyond, I have to label them separately now. I have to do it online. I have to print them out.
Wow.
Yeah, it does complicate things going international, that's for sure. And
Yeah.
not only from that standpoint, but even from a language standpoint. Sometimes we're contacted by someone in Japan and they don't really speak our English, so we're translating by the translator, and it's not always ideal.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go
Okay.
there.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna tell you right now, in 10 minutes, it's
We're
gonna
gonna run out.
end and we're gonna come back. I haven't re-upped yet. Kind of wanted to wait and see if this, you know, was something we wanted to keep on doing again this year, if it was necessary. And so in just a little bit.
Or we could always use mine, because I've got the paid version for my color theory course.
Don't you?
I can just upload the meetings and to my Dropbox, and you guys can just grab them if you want them.
True,
I mean-
because you know everybody wants to see them.
That saves us money.
Mike
I
Bacon
think I
wanted
got
to
5
know if we were gonna
terabytes of
record.
Dropbox.
Yeah.
Just think
That
about
would
it.
work. Okay.
Think about it.
We would just have to put our heads together and get you to schedule them, and because right now they're all scheduled and I don't have to do anything until every Saturday.
They give you
So-
time zones and everything, which is
Right.
cool. We're
Right.
going
I
9.
didn't see the time zone on this one.
You couldn't?
I didn't see it. That's why I sent you a message, you know, through what do you call it,
Messenger?
Facebook this morning. And I said,
Oh, I
is it, you
see
know,
it.
is it 12 Central or Eastern? But I said, well, I'm gonna just get on at 12 Central. And then I was getting the number wrong. I was looking at it instead of where it's a, you know, lowercase I thought it was an L, and I kept hitting the L and it wasn't going through. Took my daughter to figure it out. And I says, oh, okay, it's a 1.
Your daughter's still coming to the rescue. Yay.
That's my IT department.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's great. So, you know, has anybody heard anything about how the carvers were feeling about our show, our competition, our championships? Has anybody gotten any input?
I've not had any feedback over here. Not
Well,
so
I guess
far.
no news is probably good news, because if they
Well,
weren't
yeah.
happy, we'd hear about that.
There were a couple people that I know that were interested in looking at it this year. That I think when they found out that it wasn't as difficult as I guess they thought it was more difficult to enter, you know, the steps and stuff. And
Because our
and,
instructions are so detailed.
They
yeah,
are,
and,
but
yeah, well, I can understand why they have to be too, because I have to, yes. I have to do this at work, and I have to spell everything out to the ninth, and people will still come back and say, no, what line do I put my name on?
right,
The one that
right.
says name.
So, and it was in an effort to like eliminate a ton of questions. If they really do read it, pretty much everything you could ask is answered.
Yep.
But
But you put your finger on it if they read it.
that's right.
I mean,
So,
the number of last year, the number of calls I got
Mm-hmm.
over
Oh
just
yeah, the
from my
ice
Right.
is over.
right.
people, you know.
But I think that this year
But
there's
we
going
got
to
them
be
through.
those who actually were involved this last year, and then they're going to help others and say, hey, you know, it's not that hard to do. And I think every year everybody gets a little more familiar with technology and all the goofy things their phones can do. It'll be interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, if they want to use their phone, sometimes I've been carving on that wood duck and I take pictures with my good camera and then I quick pull my phone in and I take some quick shots with my my phone and send the ones on my phone to Deadly Decoy so they can see my progress. And sometimes those phone pictures are better than, in some ways, better than the ones I took on my camera, and they're smaller, number one, than the ones on my camera, which are, I don't know, something 5,000 pixels wide, but at the same time, it's nice and clear and it serves a purpose. So on Tuesday, it'll be interesting to see because I'm going to the Minnesota Decoy Club meeting and going to talk about this very subject and how you can photograph your works and show them how to do it. And, you know, I went to the club meeting before and I said, so they said, you're coming next on Tuesday. And I was in front of the club kind of pushing Wildfowl Carving Championships. And they said, you know, is it that hard? And I said, how many of you have a smartphone? And everybody's arm went up, because if you got a smartphone these days, you got at least one camera, probably three, and, you know, one in front, two in back, one for this, one for that.
Yeah.
So, yep, there you go. I mean, even
5 lenses.
mine has,
Yeah.
I don't know how many, but, and one of them's for my fingerprint, but
Yeah.
scared my fingerprint.
Everything I entered last year was everything I entered last year was taken with this Samsung.
Isn't that wonderful? That's really great news.
Mine were as well. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. So, you know, and you know, I've been a technology nut. Lori's a technology nut, but I have to admit, over the last few years, I haven't needed to be such a nut about technology because we're making it easier and easier every time. Or every year. And so I'm hoping that's going to translate into more entries. And, you know, we want to make it so that's why we're here today. Somebody they're confused about what the requirements are, or, you know, need some encouragement, or does it really belong? Yeah, it belongs, you know. I mean, if we don't have entries, we won't have a competition. And guess what? Everybody can enter. So I think that if we're here, even if it only lasts an hour this day, because I hate to not be here though, if somebody shows up after noon, because right now it's 11:15 or 11:45 here in Minnesota. So
it's possible too that there'll be a lot of pent up interest. I know when we were holding the Rappahannock show back in March, we were trying to second guess ourselves. It's like, are we going to have, are we going to get really lucky and have 100 birds, and that was some of the general thought, and the general concern was like, we're going to do all this work and then nobody's going to show up, or something's going to happen. We're going to have to shut down at the last minute. And so we finally went ahead and did it. And it was probably our largest or second largest turnout with birds. We had over 360 entries.
Wow.
And it was the number of carvers was down maybe 52, 53. But
there have mail-ins.
We had a few mail-ins. We even had a few from Michigan and Minnesota that were mailed in.
But you guys aren't even IWCA anymore, so that's pretty good considering you didn't have that a championship to draw people in or something like that. Because they did a lot of campus championships, campus decoy for IWC.
Yeah, and I guess what the Smoky Mountain group has that this year, which I'm still trying to figure out how they're going to do, how that's going to run, but they haven't posted.
You mean
the canvas division?
Yeah, that's that new show. They canceled. They were new last year, canceled their show again. And now they're going to be there this year, and I'm just having a blank on their no, tell you.
They're in the mountains of North Carolina, so it's
Yeah,
Smoky Mountain Wood Carvers. Is that who it is?
I don't think it's
Yep.
Rocky Mountain. I think it's
Smoky Mountain.
Smoky. Yeah.
Mountain.
Okay.
Yeah. They're kind of an
Um,
all sorts club, aren't they?
Yeah,
All right. Affiliate members. Catawba
that's
Valley.
them.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, they're gonna have the canvas, and we have the shorebird, and Wisconsin has the style IWCA style championships.
Columbia
and
Flyways having,
They're
Columbia
having
Flyways having one,
working.
aren't they?
I think they're having
Yeah.
work, and that's always a big turnout for whoever has it, whatever show has it. Okay.
Yeah, I've sent birds out in the past out to California, but
Sacramento or San Diego or both?
Sacramento.
Okay, well, the crews at both those shows, but especially at the California Open, are the best. I mean, when your box that it came in gets put under the table right by your entry, and at the end of the show, everybody comes and picks up their birds and leaves, and then everybody, everything else left is mail-ins unless they forgot their bird. And so you go and you look under the table, and there it is. And everybody is so good at putting everything back the way that it came and following the instructions. There'd be instructions on the box, and they'd be sitting there. They'd bring in pizza, and we'd eat as much pizza as we could eat while they're packing stuff up. And within an hour and a half, it was all ready to go. And we'd had, maybe 15 people doing it when I did it a few times. And that was pretty cool. I would have trusted the California Open with a mail-in. Most of the time when I couldn't go, I was mailing in a donated auction piece anyway, so it wasn't coming back to me. So if we could survive one trip there,
I've got some pictures somewhere. It's a long time ago now, and I captioned it. How many people does it take to pack a carving? It wasn't the last year, but there was a huge albatross that had come in as a mailing, and it was big. And they were trying to they had to take it apart and put it back in the box, or try to. And there were, in the end, about 10 of them, carvers, all. And I'm just standing there going,
That's funny.
and then I put it in Wingspan, and just did a caption, how many carvers does it take? But that was the exception, because I did quite a few years doing the mail-ins, checking the mail-ins before
Right.
the Cal.
Well, that also was great content for your
Good.
magazine when you're going to the
Yeah,
different shows.
Well, fingers crossed,
Yeah.
I'm going to try to get to the new Columbia Flyway
Good.
show.
You just be right
with-
next to my state.
Right. With Rick Pass at the helm running whatever, like
Yeah,
they put up your website, he built it. And
Joanne Watson would really, really like to go, and I think it really will be the last time.
how is her
And
health?
because our bit iffy.
Okay.
It's not doing her any good to be living with her daughter and son-in-law, because she's lost all her freedom. She's housebound. I mean, I talk to her twice a week on Zoom. She really wants to go. There's no way Anne is going to take her. And our show is the 10th and the 11th of September. And of course, this one is right at the end. So I said to her that if she can, you know, get her tummy problems working right, then we could do
Bless your heart.
one more road trip, because for years we've done, well, ever since Bern died, and before, I mean,
And before,
we
yeah.
used to do a road trip. We used to do a road trip every year. Our last road trip was 2019 when we went to Sacramento,
Good.
which was good. I've been to Sacramento a couple of times, so at the moment it's a possibility.
Right, right. Well, I think, I'm sure you're missing it. And I know that Joanne
Yeah.
must appreciate you coming and visiting her. And I mean,
Giving her a bit of freedom, taking her off in the car.
exactly, exactly.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
so
Well, you know, there's not going to be a whole lot except for some advertising and some promotion things for until July, when we start taking entries. We're going to probably do a test just to make sure that everything still works.
Site breaker,
It should.
site breaker.
Yeah, yeah.
stop pointing at me. It's not my fault.
No, I'm pointing at the
No,
other
she's
Lori.
she's pointing at me. I was updating plugins
did a few.
yesterday and something
Oh.
went out. And of course it's the weekend, so we can't get a hold of the technical support. Lori said she sent out to technical support and they sent her back a 34-page reason why they can't help her. So, they're gonna, we'll work through it, but it had nothing to do with, it has to do with Virtual Championships website, not Wildfowl Carving Championships.
Ah.
So we're gonna be going, I have to go in and I have to build each one of the divisions by hand. And what happens is I build the very first one, and then the other ones can be with basic settings, and then the other ones can be adjusted accordingly. But it's for every division at every level. So it ends up being like 30 something, or it might be less now because we won't have junior individual divisions. So the thing that we haven't done yet that we'd like to really do, I had somebody ask me if they could see the pictures of the winners of a certain division, and we have those up. It's just the single picture, not all 8, or the video. But we'd like to have an archive so that when somebody clicks on your ribbon in your profile page, your ribbon would take you to your actual 8 photos that were submitted that the judges actually saw. And
Feature.
Yeah, that's future. That's the
New feature.
New feature.
Ah.
Yeah, that's what they call it, a new feature, and that means more money.
Yeah.
Wait,
Oh.
code word.
Now, that was going to cost us about $2,800 to have it done before, on top of the, I don't know, almost 30 grand we've already spent. So was partially why I haven't jumped right in and paid for Zoom for another year, quite honestly.
Might as well just let me do it.
Yeah, let's do that. We'll set that up so we don't have to start over again. But and I think it's important to have you know, maybe nobody wants to watch this one because it's kind of boring. But there's a little nugget of information every once in a while when we get back on the subject of championships, about what's changing. And maybe I could just say, you know, this is the things we discussed that actually pertain, and the direction we're going. If you want to watch the video, click here and they can. But
Do they have, I can't remember, do they, you know, like YouTube does, where they have, you know, sections where, like, if you ask a question and it takes to the YouTube video and then it says it's right here.
yeah,
click
and
this
like at 3:20 or whatever.
Mhm.
I think I don't know
Zoom
how
does
that
you know?
gets set up. I don't know how that's,
We'll
if
look at
it's chapters or something like that.
Yeah.
But we you know, we still have
Timestamps.
to,
Mm.
yeah, right. So I'd have to maybe figure that out, and I will. But
Like you need another thing to do.
so now I've lost my train of thought. I do that sometimes. So we will be setting up probably a one test thing, and maybe we can set it up for, you know, maybe not next week, but the week after. I try to, I'm just kind of kicking back into gear for wildfowl carving, you know, finish up this wood duck, get it sent off, you know, within a week. And then I'm going to start, you know, really starting to push the promo and things like that, and updating the website. Or he's going to start making her ribbons. She makes the greatest ribbons. And
Yeah, thank you.
She does. And so, and making the little changes, but I think that it'll be prudent for us just to do a, you can even use your pictures from last year kind of test, where, you know, it's not even, I mean, last year we had to take pictures so they could have a test. And we don't have to do that.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we've really done a lot of hard work last year that
Yes,
is
and
have to be redone
I'm
this year.
grateful, so grateful for that, because we were able to just step right in and then just create the new, well, we call them divisions, but in the software it's called a contest for every single one of those divisions. And then that's how it's all compiled, the way they do it. So my train of thought that was lost is that in the end, I have this archive that will show exactly everything. But the thing that's kind of cool is that somebody was looking to buy a hooded merganser decoy. Even if it was, and they sent me an eBay link, and it was a Jules Boulet reproduction. And they also have, Jet Brunei has some really great reproduction pieces. And I thought, well, if you're going to do it, you might as well get a Jet if you're going to do a reproduction. Or, and I thought maybe I could find him a wooden decoy that would be suitable, but be an actual real decoy, one of a kind thing. So I searched on eBay and came up with stuff that wasn't suitable any better than what he already found. And then I went to Google and I searched in Google, hooded merganser decoy. And you know what comes up? Joe Tambora's winning piece from our championships, right there in Google right now. And I'm like, okay, now this is exactly what we wanted the virtual venue to do, is start populating the internet with wildfowl carvings and decoy carvings and sculptures and things, and re-educating, not re-educating, but actually educating people that there's a whole new thing, not new thing, there's a whole new thing for them if they want it. And I don't care what anyone says, even though there's a lot of technology, I don't think it's gonna, it might have replaced this for a while, but I think that people are going back to it because, you know, it's kind of, you know, rose-colored glasses are coming off, and it's really not all that great to be on Facebook all day long or whatever else thing people use, because I don't use anything more than Facebook anymore at all, and it's for my art basically. So, but we will have that archive thing someday, And I think that I wrote it down. Where did I write it down? I gotta get this pulled up. We decided on our entry fees. That I haven't talked about yet. 15, 20, and 30 is going to be the entry fees this year. So masters and open would be the 30, or intermediate would be 20, and novice will be 15. And Lori and I came to that. Jeff was also involved in that decision because the amount of money that they're asking for fees at World is like really high, I thought, for just these kind of side divisions that aren't really normal divisions. And when you look at what it is before, they had a World Championship booklet out before they canceled. And I had that somewhere, I read it somewhere and went through it all. And then it disappeared, of course, when they made their decision. But their entry fees were pretty hefty. I mean, just $45 was like the cheapest thing that they had in there. And of course, membership and all that. Well, we don't have membership. You don't have to pay to be a member. It's free. You get all that platform. If people would really spend a little bit of time poking around their own profiles, they'd see there's some advantages that are very similar to Facebook, friends you can make and communication. You can privately chat between you guys, and we can't see that private chat. It's private. And so,
let's bust Lori and Lori.
Pardon me? What?
I said, let's bust Lori and Lori.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right. So, I think that people are going to poke around a little bit more this year, and I'm going to start pushing, register for free, and it's you can do this and that and the other thing. And
Free shipping.
Pardon me?
Free shipping.
Free shipping, yes. Free accommodations. Free food. Free meals.
Free travel. Yeah.
Free drinks.
No chance
For
of
that
breakage.
matter. So, yeah.
I mean, I shipped a coot to Utah, and when the clerk told me what the fee was going to be, I said, "Whoa. No, I wanted the cheapest ground transportation." He said, "Sir, that is." It was like $52 one way from Virginia to Utah.
Wow. Was it a
It
donation?
wasn't a
So
big
you didn't
price.
need to get it back?
Oh no, it was a sale. But it reminded me that when I say it's a certain price and free shipping, I need to double check how much.
Yeah, I had to
free
take the
shipping
free
is costing.
shipping thing out too. Even like I do the duck blinds website, and we have to do plus shipping on everything. And so it's important because it varies so much, and it can really cut into your proceeds.
Yeah,
It probably would have been
especially
cheaper if I'd shipped it to California.
Right. So
I got a friend that ships out like old vintage photographs all the time, and he used to put on there, free shipping. And now it costs him more to ship it than it costs him to
buy it.
to actually produce the print almost. So it's like he's got to charge the shit. He's got to charge the shipping, and it's going to get to the point where it's going to be outpriced. You're not going to. The shipping is going to cost you more than to what it's worth to buy it.
I agree. So, well, you guys been carving at all?
Unfortunately, no.
Why doesn't that surprise me?
I get
I'm
that.
still in this. I'm still in the whole COVID fog from 2020. It just. I got so many things going on, and I can't
You're still
get
doing
into
the
it.
fish
Yeah,
preview?
I am doing fish. I haven't actually. I've got some half fish. I got some trophy trophies I have to do for the end of the month here. So, but it's like everything, I wait till the last minute. It only takes me like maybe 5-10 minutes to do these things because I'm doing not a carving, I'm doing a casting because they wanted them cheaper. So I made,
Right.
I already have the cast. I just got to go pour a couple molds and then, paint them,
Cool. Cool.
but it's just doing it.
Right.
It's
right.
just, I am trying to get back into it. And I took that little Ren class from Josh during the
Okay.
world thing. And I got in at last minute, got all the stuff. He's got it to me. It's still sitting there on the bench because the day I was supposed to be able to watch it, something else came up and I was distracted. I couldn't do it. I kind of watched it half-heartedly, but
It's
I
hard
don't know.
to get your head in the right place if you don't have.
that's
And if
it.
you have to tear down where you're working, because it's a place for a lot of different things, then, it takes an hour to get it set up and then you want to sit there for at least, a couple hours in the sitting. And then you got to tear it back down. That sucks. And, those people who don't have a nice studio to walk in and shut the door, walk out and shut the door.
Yeah, unfortunately, I've got I have a basement, next, I'm in the basement next to the in the furnace room, and it was working out fine. But now it's become a catch-all for all kinds of stuff. So it's like I got to clean my bench off to get to where I want to go and do stuff. And it's just like, so I've been trying to get back into it. I says, I have to do it. So
Right.
hope to have some new things for this show. It was like I got, I don't know, 5-6 different things sitting on the bench that just haven't touched. I started working on them and now they're just sitting there.
Yeah. For me, I had to have a heart attack to get myself back into gear. And then it's like, I didn't want things to get left behind that didn't have eyes in them. So it's like, I gotta at least give them eyes.
OCD to the end, right?
Everything. I finished everything so that I didn't have a bunch of leftover things because I wasn't sure if I'd make it. So now I'm all caught up.
That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah. So, well, I don't know if there's much more to discuss, and I don't think much anybody else is going to show up unless somebody has some questions.
I think it might be nearer the time, when it gets to entry time.
There'll be more
might get more.
questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not disappointed. I just really glad to see you guys here. And
Yeah.
show up. I didn't know who would show up. And it's always been a pleasure. Having.
That's why I'm glad to see everybody again.
Me too.
Well, and you'd always said in the messenger you're missing Saturday meetings, Leo.
Oh yeah, I do.
So, yeah, I thought more people would come, but that's okay.
I think as it goes on, we can build some buzz around that, I think.
Well,
Yeah.
and they're just starting to think about it again too, which is why we wanted to wait for World to end, and people are getting their entries. Can still do your entries into Wildfowl Carving magazine. Did you enter in there last year, Pam? Did you, Tony?
No, and
Yeah.
I must say that this year, I don't know quite how to put it.
Last time we talked, they didn't have anything up and they were advertising the new thing. It was all last year's stuff. That's the last I heard.
Yeah. And I was stirring it with Mark Allison. Yeah. I know Tom Huntington is a hard act to follow, but Mark Allison has got to get his butt in gear. He's not doing anything.
He isn't. I haven't heard from him. I've poked him a few times, and he's been encouraging and all this, and he says he wants this article and that book, and I'm like, okay, but then I hear nothing, so I'm just not going to hold my breath. But
it's like
too
this
bad.
new book. they've got a new book out. And it's not being promoted on Facebook or anything.
Mm. Isn't that the
Because
one about
normally,
habitat or
habitat, yeah.
I just got
Normally, I would be getting calls, messages, whatever, from people that subscribe to Wildfowl Carving magazine through me. You know, are you going
Right.
to bring this new book in, Pam? Not a word. And I think it's because they don't know it exists. I wouldn't know it existed unless I got that email from Bird Carvers Connection.
Wow.
Which is driving me, that is driving me around the bend, and I think I'm going to unsubscribe soon. I actually emailed them and said, look, you keep sending me these emails that say, accept or decline our offer. But there isn't a button to decline.
I know.
And it's just,
I've had to pick up the
But
phone and
please-
call and say, I don't want that book because, you know, I didn't. And don't send it.
but I know some people over here that are always going on about habitat, you know, they don't know how to do habitat, etc., etc. So I thought there would be some interest. But I'm not gonna, I don't ship books in unless I've got people that want to buy them.
Right. You're
You know,
distributing them. You're not promoting them as much as you're distributing them to those who's a favor. So,
Yeah, well, I'm not going to pay
well,
for
that's-
them. And
I'm
then
sorry
have
to hear that about
Oh,
the magazine.
yeah,
It's like
I might,
we're really distant, where I was probably talking to Tom about one thing or another at least 3 times a
Yeah.
month. And, you know, we go back and forth, and I mean, we didn't even have to sign our whole signature, just Lori and Tom, you know, because we talked so
Oh
often.
yeah, I got. We were regularly in touch.
Yeah.
He would email me, how many magazines do you want for this time? Mark Allison has taken because nothing happened at first, and I have got contacts with their shipping, the guys that do
Well,
their
that's
shipping,
good.
their
So
fulfillment.
you can bypass it.
And when I finally got in contact with him, he said, I guess you might as well carry on doing that. And I wasn't impressed, you know, because he's not
Helpful.
reaching out.
No, he's not. And maybe he's overwhelmed because, like you said, Tom had had it for many, many years. And since 2011, we were dealing with Tom Huntington. And he was a dream to deal with, because not only was he a great editor, he was an author, so he could put himself in our position. So, I mean, when he wanted me to write the different things, chapters for my book, you know, he'd feed me only one thing at a time. Now you need to do this. Now you need to do this. Now you need your dedication. Now you need, and so it wasn't so overwhelming, because if he sent it all to me at one time, I go, oh my God, I don't know, you know, because he was really good at handling. And I think it also helped to be one of the few artists that actually respond like that to him. You know, the rest of them, they promise things and they're going to write articles, and then it doesn't happen. And what does he do? He's stuck in a lurch. So, you know, I do miss Tom, and I'm sure there are a lot of others, including the magazine Ampre themselves, are missing him. And he posted something about, I think his mother had died, or he'd gone to see her, but it was considerably like a month after he'd left. And I said, we miss you. And he liked that. He even hearted it. So I think he loved it. So we do miss him. And well, he'll be a hard act to follow. Kathy Hart was before him. And that was a long time ago.
No, Bill Einzig was before him.
You're
Kathy was
right.
Before,
Yeah,
But before Bill. Yeah, you're right.
yeah.
And yeah, so it's funny how things change, but stay the same.
We'll have to see.
Yeah. Well, I guess you can just watch for our posts, and we'll be here again next Saturday at 11 Central. So, and you're Central, aren't you? No, Leo, you're not.
No, I mean, that's why I asked if it was 12 Central or Eastern. I figured, well, I'll just get on because it didn't say, so I figured, well, if it doesn't work, I
Isn't
would know
that
it's
weird? Because I know I sent
mine converted.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, mine
And
converted.
the thing is, and it could be because the message and all that goes to my email, which is on my desktop. This is on my iPad because I don't have a camera on my desktop.
I see what you're saying. I see this invitation does not say what time.
Really?
Oh, I thought
Mine
it
did.
did.
Well,
Mine
it just
did.
doesn't say. Mine didn't say
Oh.
Eastern or Western or Eastern
Well,
or
see-
Central or what.
Well, what this is because it was an invitation through Zoom, they convert it for you and put it on your calendar where it's supposed to be at the right time. So that's why it didn't have the time on there. And but because when I went and looked at the Facebook page, it's on there, the Central.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
I figured it was Central just because it was coming from you. That's where you're at. So I figured, well, okay, it's Central.
right, right. So it'll always be 11 to 1 p.m. Central,
Right.
unless of course we find we have nothing more to really talk about. It's going to end again in 10 minutes. So. Anyway, well, I think it was really fun seeing you guys, and the website will be whenever something changes on the website, we'll put a thing on Facebook so everybody can know something's different to go look at. Otherwise they don't come back, so for a while, unless they have a question. And even then, I've had people message me not only through Wildfowl Carving but through my personal messenger. I didn't go look, but when did they start taking entries? Wow, maybe you should go look. Go to the website and look. Why are you wasting my time asking these stupid questions?
But that's what people
But
do.
I know
They-
they won't read. So I don't say that to them. I just think it. And
I do a lot of that. I do a lot of thinking and not saying.
My thinking isn't polite,
Right. So, well, maybe we'll see you next week.
That's good
hoping-
seeing you guys again.
Yeah,
Really?
it really was. It really was. Jeff will
that.
probably be here next week when there's a little bit more to talk about. And
Looking forward to that. It's kind of like a meetup.
it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
The more we get here, the better. But
Right. Well, and it'll be fun because, it was fun to have that nice screenshot of the meeting for the article, Pam, because
Yeah.
you notice Gerard Fuentes is in there,
yeah.
and he's gone and no longer with us. He died last year, had a bad accident.
Yeah.
Never came back.
Yeah.
So it's kind of sad to see that, but at the same time kind of cool because he did contribute. And but it was nice to have that screenshot included, and that's basically what we're doing today. So hopefully we can do it again. Well, Tony, thanks for joining us, and you too, Leo and Pam.
Appreciate
All right.
you guys.
Yeah.
I have
We
to get
will
busy
look
so I
for
don't
you.
have
next
more than one
Saturday.
entry.
Yeah, if anything comes up in between, you know how to get a hold of us. Right.
Thanks.
Have a good one.
Okay, take care. Thanks
Take
again.
care.
Yep.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.